Hey y'all.
Hi everyone. How are you?
I'm
Muted. I'm
good.
muted. I'm muted. That's what I'm doing. I'm muted.
I almost started talking and I realized I was muted too. Two
How you
years
got?
into this new lifestyle, I'm still talking while being muted.
Yeah, no. Me too. Me too.
You know you about to say something?
Look, I'm putting this in the reel.
The real what?
You know.
Oh.
Join us. Everybody, come on. Log in, like, and subscribe.
You a whole social media manager.
I
Right.
know. I
That's hilarious.
know. I'm
How's
telling
everyone's
you.
week going?
Well, it's band camp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is
I
it band camp? Like everyone is locked and loaded? Freshmen, old heads, everybody?
Well, the freshmen have been here since what day did they show up? I can't even remember. They've been here like 3 weeks.
Gotcha.
And and vets just got here Tuesday, but this week for them has been COVID protocol, so we haven't seen them yet. Well, other than when they first got here,
Gotcha.
we haven't seen them, so they have been under COVID protocols. And you know, once we make sure that everybody's okie dokie smoky,
Mm-hmm.
we'll all come together.
Gotta do it right. Portia, y'all, have y'all started yet?
no girl, I got 5 more days of freedom.
5 more.
Couple more days.
Ooh,
Couple more
love it.
days. Our vets, well, our student leadership and percussion come in next Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So 5, 6, 7, not really because we already meeting and doing and preparing and yeah. So not really, but until I have to be physically at Norfolk State every day,
Sure.
next Wednesday is the start of that.
Yeah, tomorrow they start the first 4:45 a.m.
Mm. No, I
Yeah.
won't. I won't be at any of those.
Really?
I don't. I don't go to those. I had to do enough of that when I was in the band. So I'll get to the gym, on one of their breaks or something, but I'm not getting up there.
Yeah.
I'm not a morning person anyway, so
Me
it
either.
would be good for me to be there anyway. And working out, I'll be real evil.
Yeah. Well, welcome to band camp.
I do
Oh,
y'all want to tell y'all this. So I'm not
what?
gonna tell y'all what,
Uh-oh.
but the girls wanted to learn a Silk at Legion classic, right? So I'm trying to like remember, right? So I went in there to reach teach myself that thing. And I just want to say, like, for people to be like, this ain't a sport, my arms and back feel like I got in a fight. Okay. And I don't know how anybody else learns, but for things to stick in my mind, I have to do it over and over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, child. I just told them that I love them. That's why I made this sacrifice because yeah, I'm not built for this anymore. Like people be like, I bet you still got it. I don't. Let me tell you
No.
right now,
No.
I am past my prime.
No, you can't say that though, because you can't. You just can't. You got to pull it back up, pull it together. Come on now. If I could start coaching, look, how old am I? And if I can start coaching, and Maya will tell you, I was doing the choreography when I started. Sure was.
You're a different kind of person. Let me tell you, my arms and my body told me this is not your lane anymore. Like
Yeah.
you just
That's funny. That back scratch ain't like it used to
baby. Oh my God. By the time I had done that thing like 6 times, I was like, oh no, I gotta go home.
Oh
Now,
my
what I will say
gosh.
is the next week when I did it again, it wasn't as bad.
Okay.
All right.
But
That's good. That's good.
I was like, ooh, I probably wouldn't even have made the squad if I had showed up with this right
Oh, no, don't say that.
Oh my gosh.
here. It was trash. I'm telling you, I'm gonna just call it out.
Oh,
But
my
I
God.
remember the routine, and you know, it's gonna be decent enough to teach and I not be embarrassed.
Okay. That's something we can work with that.
We're gonna have to, because that's all I got.
Listen, piece
Yeah,
by
I'm
piece,
trying to-
we'll build it together. You got to smooth on back into it, back to the basics.
Yeah, the warm up is just real. Like, I don't know. And then it never. What I'm saying is, when I went from band camp to band camp, when I was doing it, and it was like, ugh. But it wasn't like, oh my God, I need a heating pad. That's what I'm experiencing now. Like,
BioFreeze.
yeah, I bought some. I
Yeah,
usually use it for these bad knees. Thank you, Spartan Legion. But it went on my back the other day.
Get some, and you know what? They have the pads now, the little patches that you stick on now, and then they even have them in the shape of like the KT tape. They even
Really?
they got BioFreeze pads in the shape of the tape, so like you can put them on your knees just like you do KT tape.
Oh, you done told me something. Thank you for that knowledge.
That's gonna come in handy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you got to stay up on the technology.
I see. That's hilarious.
Because I was the one when doing band camp, when I heard, I was walking around smelling just like Bengay. Who's that smelling like that? Me. I heard y'all lying.
Thank you.
Yep.
It's by any means necessary. If you want me to be here, you're gonna be smelling me from a mile away. But I'm here.
Yeah.
You don't care. I sure don't. You don't buy unscented. Why? I heard.
Thank you. I know that's right.
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay, so I was thinking, well, I was on Instagram the other day, per usual, right? And so I saw the announcement of the new director or sponsor. Let me get the correct verbiage. For Southern. What?
For Southern? Yeah, I saw that.
And so it got me to thinking, that's very interesting. I mean, of course, nobody knows inside business. So when things pop up, we're just given the information. So when I saw that come down the pipeline, I was like, wow, of course, no one was expecting it. Or why would we be expecting it? But wow, look at here. We're back to the basics. We're starting something new. It's a new era.
Yep.
So it got me to thinking, with everything, there's something new, right? And so we've kind of touched on it a little bit, kind of here and there. There are some transitionings happen within the community on the auxiliary side, color guard side, as well as on the music side, band directors. This season, there's going to be a lot of new things happening, a lot of transitionings, and a lot of firsts. So that made me think, how does that even happen, right? Because Portia, you were new, right? You were new to being the sponsor for the Silkettes. Miss Shawn, you were new to the Foxes and any other team. Mm-hmm. So I want to go back to that time. What's funny, Miss Shawn?
I'm laughing at
the comment. Yeah.
Now, I'm just going to let it happen in its own time. That if there's anything that anybody wants to share, then sure, that's fine.
I'm sorry, Maya. Keep going.
But, what was it like your first day, first week on the job, and how, just what is the mindset? Because I can think of trying to implement your vision, or, especially going into something that already has a foundation. How do I make this my own? How do I treasure the legacy? How do I stay consistent? But also, I was brought here to do a job, right? They hired me for a reason. How do I put my piece on it while still keeping it as it is and progressing us forward? And also, if we want to add to that, how do I do that if I don't have the opportunity to start to make the team from the ground up? Let's say you're walking in, the team is already made. Mm-hmm. How does that feel? What does that look like? And what do you do?
You want me to go first?
Anybody?
Well, my situation was a little different.
Yeah.
I wasn't the only coach. But they already knew me too, because Chanel and I have been close since forever. When I was in the section when I was section leader, she was my assigned big sister. So we've had a relationship since I was in the section as captain. But it was, and they knew me, but not in that capacity. And I was one of the young ladies in the section's big sister. So it went from, this relationship to a different relationship. And I mean, I'll be honest, at first, my first year was spent kind of figuring out how it all worked, because the first thing was that it was completely different from the section that I left. The band program was completely different from the band program that I left, as far as how things worked, approaches to certain things. So a lot of that year was spent observing. And so it was different at first. I didn't really know all the way where I fit in, if that makes sense. Just me being completely honest. Building a rapport with the girls in a different way. So it was kind of interesting at first. But what I will say is that the great thing was that Chanel and I are so much alike as far as structure, organization, expectations, that it eventually felt like second nature, like I had been here the whole time. I think the most interesting part of that transition was the first time I had to be something other than nice.
Ooh.
That's a different kind of situation. It was all fun and games. I'm helping them with routines, providing guidance. I'm here every day, but then something went wrong.
Sure.
And then I had to check it. And so to me, that's a real crossroads. In my, the position that I was in, it wasn't like I was a brand new person. It wasn't like I was coming into, it wasn't like I was coming into something I wasn't, didn't have anything, push on the block. Yeah. And the thing is, for me, is that I ran that section, and the type of section leader I was, none of that person could exist and I still be employed as a coordinator. So it was about finding a way to say, y'all not finna do this again. And not turn into that. But what I will say is that we have great leadership. So I'm 9 times out of 10, I can have adult conversations. You all know the expectation is this, and you did something other than that, and I want to know why. And they'll say why, and I'll say, well, look at this was the impact of that, so do you see why that's not policy, procedure, or how we do things, and blah, 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 blah. And they'll say, I see exactly what you're saying. You're right. I don't normally have that problem again. I think there's been one time that I've said here, since I've been one, if you do that again, just don't even come back. Don't even worry about it. Don't audition. Don't call me. Don't text. You do that again, just we'll be good away from each other.
Yeah.
And I've only had to do that once. So it was a little bit different for me because they were already familiar. I was familiar with the program. Now this year with me by myself, it is a little different. I can't, I still call Chanel, bounce ideas off her, but this is me. This is going to be yours. And I do have to find a way. If it's broke, don't fix it. But to try to, push them forward and try some new things and, incorporate some new stuff. So we'll see. But it's a little bit different from starting from scratch. But I do know somewhat of what that's like. And sometimes you do get the short end of the stick because you ain't pick these people, but you still got to put a product out there.
Right.
And so that can be a bit tough. I know people who have experienced that. I have not Y'all know I brag about the leadership I have all the time. I haven't been to the valley yet. So I don't know that life, but I know some people, and you just have to do the best that you can. And I think in that situation, you're gonna kind of have to be the coordinator and the section leader. You got to help guide them in that situation. I don't know that, and you have to at that point try to establish what your expectations are, because they're going to have remnants of whoever was there before you. So that can't be easy, but thank God. That's not been my experience yet.
Whew, ciao.
Sean?
Let's see.
Sean, is this triggering?
Okay, so I mean, do you want to know about when I was at Howard and I knew nothing? I mean, no thing.
We want to know it all, man.
You enlighten us about it all, because I think eventually that valley experience is coming for me.
It's going to come for sure.
Oh, look. Oh, wait. When I was at Howard, I knew nothing. And I was so just Pollyanna. I was just like, oh, I'm just so excited for this opportunity. This is just going to be so fun. And I'm going to, I'm going to be a coach. Oh my God, I can't believe it. And then I got there and them girls met me like,
who do you think you are running up in here?
And I was like, and then, I didn't know because I had just moved to DC from Dallas. So I just moved there. I didn't know who the coach was before me. I didn't know. And this was definitely one of them situations where they were all there when I got there. They had been picked and they had, they were chosen, and they were expecting to have their coach that was there when they were picked. And so then here I come and they're just like, who are you? And I was, thinking, oh my gosh, I just can't wait. And we're going to do all this. But still at the same time, I was really scared because I really knew, other than just my basic dance background and, I've been trained, technically. So I knew that. I knew that I was not going to do what they accused me of, which they still accuse me of, which is making them look like the dolls. And I was like, I can't make you look like the dolls because I don't dance like that. That's not my genre. That's not my era. So I can't dance like that. I'm not going to make you look like the dolls. But if I tell you to do a split leap, and then I would put split leaps in the dance, and they were just, no, the dolls do that, and so they were, they were just like really upset that whole first year. And I was coach there for 3 years. And that first year, oh my God, it was torture. I was hazed. Thank you, Mr. Kelvin Washington. I was hazed. And they just and what was so funny is that one of the young ladies ended up like years later pledging AKA, right? And so we were in this was back before the social media. So she was on a listserv, if y'all remember what that is. And we were sharing messages on this listserv, and she was just like, "Oh, Miss Sean, you remember me?" And I just want to apologize because we treated you so terrible. And she said, and she goes, now that I'm older and everything, I cannot tell you how many times I have had that conversation with former dancers who tell me, now that I'm out of it, I realized that I shouldn't have treated you that way, but it was hard because I didn't know anything. And, they had all of their traditions and things that they like to do. And the directors will come in and say, look, we don't want to see any of that anymore. We want we want a fresh start. This is what we want. And then you go in there and do that. And then you just go in there blind as a bat. Mm-hmm. And they are resistant. Oh my gosh. They're resistant because y'all know dance teams and color guard teams are like sororities. So I think to them, it was like somebody coming from the outside into their sorority that had not been sufficiently hazed. So I mean, they put me through the ringer, and it was hard. I'm not gonna lie. I am not gonna lie. That first year was a disaster, but it got better. It got better over time as I got to pick people myself and pick people for the team, and they got to know me, and I'm still friends with some of them, and but that first year, oh my gosh, I was just like, I don't think I moved up here for this. This is crazy.
Yeah.
So, but it was hard. It was really hard. Now, but I will tell you this too. It was hard everywhere I went because I have never coached at Southern University. Never. And so I have always coached at places that I was not a graduate of a program that I did not participate in. So that is a different point of view than what Portia goes through, because I always have to come in. I'm the stranger. I'm the one that doesn't belong. You didn't come through this program. And so how you go in there and make show them that you're not trying to change them. You respect their traditions, but on the other hand, you've got a directive from the band director, and a lot of times the team members don't know that.
Right.
They don't know that the band director said
yeah,
they want this, and this, and they no longer would like to see this, and this, period. And they don't know that. And so they want to keep all of their traditions and everything. And I'm the bad guy. I'm the one that comes in. I'm not a part of the program. So I'm an easy target.
Right.
But it's happened everywhere I've been. South Carolina State, Norfolk State, everywhere here, PV. So,
sure.
Yep.
So that gets me to thinking, does it matter whether you came through the program or not? Like, is it, who's to say, is it easier? Should there be a rite of passage, or should it be like, no, if you didn't come through here, then you have to, I don't know, not necessarily prove yourself, but should that be a part of the selection process, whether you came through the program, are affiliated in some shape, form, or fashion, or not? Because, I mean, honestly, I can see both sides. Just because you came up through the ranks or came up through the program does not necessarily mean that you know anything,
baby.
Better yet, the best about, about what's going on. You could have just been hanging on by the thread of your pants on,
barely checked off. And
you could have been the last one on the bench every single week or what have you, just because you were in, cahoots with whatever organization does not make you an integral part of it. And then vice versa. Sometimes I feel like it's amazing to have a fresh perspective because you're not, your judgment isn't clouded, so you come with these eyes and you're able to see things, you're able to feel things, you're able to relate on a different basis because you have a different background.
That whole tradition
you
thing.
You just said that so right there, okay? Because, baby.
I mean, I'm not saying there's no truth to what you just said. Of course, there's truth to what you just said, but that
ain't gonna be received that way.
That tradition,
she coming in here trying to change everything.
Yeah.
I see both sides too, Maya. I don't know if they got a coach that was not a Silkette, how that would work out though. That's a little different. We always over here in this basket by ourselves. I don't know,
Has that ever been a case?
Huh?
Has there ever been a sponsor? Oh, okay.
Nope.
Gotcha.
Never.
Gotcha.
And I was the first one. I was the first one, and I was only there, 2 years?
Hot ice?
Yeah.
It's, I mean, to me, dance is dance. And I mean, for the most part, color guard is color guard.
Sure.
It's a little different over here. I'm not saying it's not doable. It'd be a hell of a learning curve. But I'm not saying it's not possible. That day may come, because all of that is at the discretion of a band director. You know, they can pick up and say, I want to wipe all this out and start over. That's their right as the director of bands. Now, I will say that here in Norfolk, Virginia, if that happened, it would probably be some kind of uprising and setting some stuff on fire. These people around here is like a cult. I don't know.
But look at everything Dr. Sanford had to go through when he arrived.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Dr. Sanford's a Southern grad. So
right. No, but I'm saying as far as if somebody came in and said, or a band director came in and said, that Silkette style. We don't want that at all.
Oh yeah, Portia. That was his. I don't know if you remember this, but one year y'all didn't wear the helmets. Remember?
It wasn't all year. And that's when I knew it was time to exit stage left.
Yes.
That was my last year.
Yeah, the one year
that was my last year.
Didn't wear the helmets, and oh my Lord, I had never seen a reaction like that before, ever. I was just like, but y'all are so pretty.
Can I be honest right now? Can I be honest? I was fanning them flames. I was hot. I didn't want none of that. I was calling people. What you got going on?
I was like, y'all are so pretty, and there was
I don't care. I wasn't trying to be pretty. I was trying to get Silkette, which meant that helmet. Yeah, and it was like 3 or 4 games we didn't have them on, and it went so bad. By homecoming, we had them helmets on, and we had them on the rest of the season. Because that's how this thing works here. It's not a thing. And I mean, whoever does it, I mean, and they can choose to do it, but it'll probably be a hard road.
Yeah.
In that instance for this, you could coordinate the Silkettes. I mean, because if you have the right leadership, the style will be passed on. It's not like I'm out there teaching all the time. No, that's what the student leadership is for. I'm helping facilitate that growth and structure and all of that. So we could have an outside coordinator, but it hasn't happened yet. But I see both sides of it, because sometimes the people inside are so wedded to stuff that that there's no growth, that there's no newness at all. It's just the same stuff done the exact same way. And I mean, I'll say all the time, they do stuff different from when I was in the section. They do a lot more dancing. They wear earrings. They do a lot of stuff. But I think it's all great. Everything that we did, just because we did it or something was that way before, doesn't mean it has to be the exact same way, going forward. As long as they look like the Silkettes, I don't care about none of that.
Right.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if I could look back on all of my experiences, going to new places, your challenges are the alumni, of course, and the fans who expect a certain thing. So those are your challenges, especially the vocal ones. And at PV, they like to email the president. The president's email address is on the website, and they email it. So yeah, I've ended up in the president's office twice.
Oh Lord.
Twice over the Foxes. Yes. So yeah. So your challenges are the alumni and your challenges are the fans. Everything was kind of split on did they want us to keep the old style, or did they want to move on and see some new things? And it was kind of 50-50. Some were because when I got to PV, they had merged the Black Foxes with some members of Classic Dance Ensemble. So you had some people who had come in and, they were technically trained and they were, doing a different kind of dance, and they had to learn the Fox style. And then you had, the Foxes that remained from that audition, and they were into the Fox style, and they, so you had kind of 2 different schools of thought, and they came together. And Maya could probably tell you a little bit more than I can about how smoothly that went, because I was like the monkey, and see no evil. Yeah. Ooh, that was me, because I was just like, look, I'm just gonna sit here and I want to watch, and I wanna see what's going on here before I open my mouth and put my foot in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's why that whole first year, when I was an assistant, I just watched. I just watched, just to see how things were going, and to kind of, see what I could do. Because yeah. Mm. That was a whole mess and a half right there.
Yeah, and you said smooth. In my head, I was thinking smooth. That smooth must have been like crunchy peanut butter. Wasn't nothing smooth about it. Okay. It was a time. It was a time, and it was a learn. That was just, I don't know if anybody could remake that if they wanted to. But it was necessary. I mean, it did what it needed to do to get to where we are now, but it was definitely not easy. And I think a lot of it was from the student's perspective, going into it not knowing anything, right? So you can be a sponsor or coordinator or director. You can go into it from your side not knowing what to expect, but then being on the other side of it and just kind of saying, yes, I have a voice, but my voice is only so loud. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, I don't wear, whether I'm a leader or not, I don't wear the true hat, and I'm not the true voice of the direction and vision of this group. So how much can I say? And also, I'm on the roller coaster as well. I'm in the front seat of the roller coaster, going through the motions like everyone else. So
yeah,
that
I can just imagine how hard it is, for people who come in expecting one thing and one path, and then there's this new person and they're like, oh God, should I quit? Should I stay and stick it out? What should I do? And that was a hard time. It's just not easy. It's just really not easy, and you will forever have some people who will want what it used to be,
right?
It doesn't matter that it's 2022, and the majority of dance teams are either extremely technical or they are involved in the majoretting style, and that doesn't matter. No. They want what they used to have.
Exactly.
It's hard.
And then having to be the director or whomever, you're put on this, from my assumption, you're put on the chopping block because nobody knows the internal conversations. You don't know what the director of bands or whomever has said, this is what we're doing this year, or this is what we're looking after. Mm-hmm. So don't let you be a new person walking in, and this is just the year that the director of bands or whomever has decided we're going to transition. Now everybody like, now I know you didn't come in here doing, this, that, and the third, and it's just an uproar. And you like, people, please. This is what I was told to do. So I can only, it takes a special person. It takes a special person.
Yeah, you literally just have to kind of take your beatings. It's in the verbal lashing. And I never forget, walking up to some alumni, I'm all happy. It's so nice to meet you. And they would look at me like,
mm-hmm.
If you don't get away from me.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, I know. It's just, and to be fair, a lot of those perceptions have softened and they've changed over the years. I've always tried to do things to always be reminiscent of the old style. In some form or fashion, whether it's uniform or whether it's a dance move, we still do the circle from time to time. And so, we try. And what's really cool is the girls that I have now are very much into nostalgia.
Sure.
So they will go back and look at some of the old videos and the old pictures of the uniforms and stuff, and then they'll come to me and Miss Shawn, we want to do this, and we, they'll do something that from the old style. And Miss Shawn, can we get a uniform with a tail on it? And I'm just like, no, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. We're not doing the tail anymore. But they're very nostalgic. They're very they loved meeting Dr. Sherrod. Like what you saw on the show was not acting. I mean, they loved meeting Dr. Sherrod. They love learning about what it used to be like. They love that. Yeah. Very nostalgic group.
Gotcha. Okay, so let me say this. So Ms. Shawn, there are some points where I feel like you just had to push the envelope because you just say like, this is just what we're gonna do. We're gonna change it up. The people just gonna have to eat it and swallow it as they may. Portia, has there ever been a time where you felt like you've pushed the envelope or wanted to push the envelope in whatever reason? Or is that something that it's not necessarily necessary because of the structure of your organization?
I haven't had to do that yet, but if I feel like we need to change something, we're gonna change it.
Okay.
I'm not I don't act like that old person, but she's still heat. Like if we need, I'm gonna always do what's best for the squad. My obligation is to them, making sure that those students have the best experience possible and making decisions that are best for them. And trying new stuff comes with that. And if it's something, with the style, I don't see something absolutely crazy coming into play, but who knows? Maybe we'll try some weird stuff. I don't know.
Weird stuff.
I'm not opposed to anything but glitter. Like glitter. That's the line for me. But other than that,
no glitter.
No. But other than that, I don't know. I don't know that there's anything that I could think of that'll be a hard no or anything that I would be scared to do. You know what I'm saying? If we want to try it, as long as it's tight, I don't care. What they gonna say? They might. We never did that before. Okay, but was it good?
Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw a couple of comments go by about how teams kind of steal from one another or they are inspired by one another.
We've been talking about that.
That's what we choose. That's what we choose to say. We are inspired, but I will tell you that there's a certain approach that you have to take with that kind of thing, and one is dance is dance, and there is no way that you can everybody have 100% of what they do be unique. It's just not going to happen. And then the other thing is it's hard to know who started something, because the different moves and the different counts, like every year I see something like this thing right here, or the hip like that, or the that, or there's a move there's a certain that there's a move or something that just kind of spreads around, and all of a sudden all the teams are doing it in a different way. And I look at stuff all the time and I'm going, man, they took that from the Foxes. And then I have to think about it. Well, who did it first? I don't know. You don't know. You won't know. You won't know who's the first one to do it. Now, Howard University. Girls, I love you. Y'all could have changed up that circle just a little bit. Like a little bit. You could have changed up the circle just a little bit. They did it the exact same.
But let's talk about that. Like, some of it is egregious. How do we feel about that? Like, is that what's the thought on that? Like, for a fact that belongs to some other squad. Like, I feel differently about that
Now,
with high school students than I do college students.
now,
If it's like something that's blatant,
Sure.
Now, I will tell you this. I am guilty. I taught the Foxes old school doll stuff. All right. And boy, they talked about it in somebody's group. I know they did. And then they laughed it off. They like, oh, Miss Shawn, she's so crazy. And they laughed it off, right? And I taught them it was a kick line and something that we had done back in the 80s. But it ended up in our dance just because we were bored one day and they were like, Miss Shawn, teach us one of your kick lines. And I was like, okay. And I taught them one of the kick lines. So that's how that happened. But what you're saying is just the shameless ripping off of other moves and certain components of people's dance. I will tell you this: we all do it, and we are all inspired by other dances. We don't. What my rule for the Foxes is: do not look at any videos throughout the semester. Don't look at anybody. Don't look at Stingettes. Don't look at the dolls. Don't look at nobody, because what happens is it seeps into your subconscious, and you come to rehearsal and they start doing something. I'm like, no. I'm like, the Stingettes do that, and they were like, oh, for real? Yes, for real. Don't do that. So it seeps into their subconscious. But we also are now taking from lyrical and modern jazz classes, and there's all these dance classes and stuff that's on Instagram and on TikTok now, and people are going in and say, "Oh, cute. Let me take that." And so yeah, we all do it, and we're all guilty of it. And do I like it? Not necessarily, but I also know that there isn't really no such thing as just this 100% unique movement. You gotta be careful what you watch, because you'll be doing it and don't even realize that you're doing it. So.
Absolutely. Like, it's inevitable. The way I kind of think about it, like I think of fashion, right? So everything repeats itself at some form or another. Then the new kids on the block are bringing back this 2000s fashion. Like, they're the ones that came up with it and was like, no, been there, done that. It's just, it looks a little bit different. So it's inevitable, especially when you think about these styles, or whether it's color guard, whether it's dance. The foundation came from somewhere.
It did.
And whoever is teaching it or whoever is passing it down gathered their background from somewhere different, right? And so as you transition those things, there are going to be fundamentals that are going to be necessary in order to do the style, or in order to feel the need for, you can only do a back scratcher. You know what I'm saying? There are ways in which you do a back scratcher. There are ways in which you do a half back scratcher. There are ways in which you do anything, right? But when you say things like, okay, there would be no reason why, let me put a whole circle on the field, or whatever that looks like. But you can't say that with the kick line, right? The kick line has been happening prior to our culture even being put on a field, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Like, who's the first to do that? But then it's hard to say, okay, well, this person is stealing from this person, and this group is stealing from this group, because I've had times where Miss Shawn, I will die on the hill that Miss Shawn brought the turn and second, which we call internally, I don't know if y'all have changed it, but we called it the whack.
Yeah, we still call it the whack.
Brought the whack to the Foxes. We was like, what type of shit is this here? You want me to do what? But it became a thing. It became a true thing, and then it has spread. I've seen it more and more, especially as the teams have become more and more technical within the past 10 years or so. Yeah. But there's a reason, because I think that along with that, okay, I like that. That makes sense. Let me pull some inspiration from this place, from this place. Y'all, I don't know if y'all remember, what is the name of that movie? Bring It On. When not the clothes.
When they taught them all the same routine.
Exactly. And then there was another scene where they were trying to build their routine. They were pulling from Bob Fosse. They were pulling from this.
Yes.
It's the same exact thing that we're doing in here today.
Yeah.
It just kind of streamlines, especially in that off season when we do find ourselves looking at these videos and footage and mass bands or whatever. It's back here in the back of your mind, and then it comes out when
it comes out.
You're doing something different, but it's all inspired from something. So it's like, how do you break the line of what's stealing, what's borrowing, maybe, you know? But I do think at some point in time we have to cut it to where just true exploitation of a particular move or genre, that's a little bit different.
Yeah. I mean, it's just gonna happen. You can't, I always tell my girls, in the summertime, go to class.
Yeah.
Go to and it's the same thing. They go to class, they go to somebody's class, and then they come back and they bring it and they put it in a routine. So it's really, really hard. I will tell you that Dr. Sherrod will tell you that inspiration that she got for the Black Foxes came from the June Taylor dancers, came from the Rockettes, and came from the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, the what is it called? The junior college, the Kilgore Junior College Raiderettes or whatever the heck, and so if you look at a lot of the kick lines that the Foxes have done and the jump split and all of that stuff came from other places.
Exactly.
The same thing happens in the marching band world. Hey Luke, what's up? No, but the same thing happens in the band world. A lot of people don't even realize that a lot of the stuff that show style bands got came from bands like Michigan, came from bands like Pittsburgh, came from bands like Ohio. So a lot of the stuff that you see in show style bands originated at a PWI. A lot of people don't know that, so I try my best to encourage them to move freely and to.
This is not talk that talk.
Julian on vacation. He
very much so. He's doing his own thing for sure.
Yeah. Yes. There we go. I do review everything, and I have cut power. Like, no, that looks like somebody else, and no, we're not doing that. But yeah, a lot of people don't realize it's just hard, when you go out there and you're learning from different choreographers and you're learning. We can also, I know I'm about to stir up some mess here. Excuse me. It's happening in the entertainment world as well. Now that our dancers are more popular than ever, you're starting to see a lot of our movement in the entertainment world.
Not even the movement, the uniforms, baby, because these on stage looks is straight up halftime and has been for
years. Now, don't get me wrong, that Chloe Bailey's That Treat Me video, that I love it. That video is just, I'll just be in there like, yeah, I've been there getting it right. I love it, but where half the moves came from.
Mm-hmm.
So come on. So we feed off of each other. We really do. And so your head would explode if you sat here and tried to identify exactly where everything started. Just, it's movement.
Yeah.
So
exactly. It's movement created. I mean, it's from the art form. Dance is an art form. Mm-hmm. Ballet, jazz, all of these things are the foundation in which have kind of come together and made this Jekyll and Hyde type of experiment to what we call HBCU today. That's just honestly what it is.
Yeah.
And there's no ways around it. But I don't. That will forever be one of those conversations. I think it's more so if you get it, you get it. If you know, you know. And for those who don't, I mean, it just good luck.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
I got a question though, Portia. How it if you know you had moved on and you were no longer coaching the Silkettes and they hired a Silkette coach that wasn't from Norfolk State, how would you feel?
I would have to see the product before I had a feeling. As long as
let me run that back. Initially, how would you feel?
I would be worried.
Okay.
Because I don't know what that looks like.
Mm.
And it's that person's, as the hired individual, to do what they want to with the section. I would hope that because it all aligns with the Legion mentality, our persona as a program, that would be maintained, but it would be up to that person what that looks like, and that person and the band director. So I would be a little bit worried. Nobody ever wants to see something that they love or that they were a part of die.
Yeah.
So, and the only other thing I would say is that if they completely changed it and they showed up in glitter, just call them something else.
That's interesting.
That's fun. Yeah.
I mean, because my thing is, if you go to something and they announce the Silkettes, I'm looking for a certain thing.
Yeah.
So if it's not that certain thing no more, call it something else.
I got you. That's deep. You hit me with that one.
Yeah, was not expecting that whatsoever.
Yeah, call it something else. But I mean, it would be up to that person, and if they and the band director thought that it was time for something different, then it's time for something different. But I don't want you to call it the Silkettes.
That's interesting. There, that's a word.
Yeah, my mind is going a million miles a minute because I'm trying to think through previous years. Are there some people who probably should have called their new transition somebody else?
If you come in, I mean, for them to show up, and this is not a shot.
It is what it is.
At anybody, but if they show up and they grinding on the pole and they wearing glitter and it's some color guard and dance features in there, they ending in a split. That's not the Silkettes.
Right. I got you. Yeah, and you're right. So that's not
in the instance when it's completely different. Call it something else. That's, and I've thought about this because there was a time Silkettes went through a rough patch before, you know, Chanel and I got there, and we didn't know. I never expected to coach this team. Never. Yeah, I didn't know what was going to happen. So I thought through this in my mind. That's why I was able to answer that so fast. I've thought through this.
Yeah.
You know, I can't tell the band director who to hire. Sure. I can't tell him what he wants to see for his program, but I can bug and ask that you call it something else.
You know, as dance coaches, I think we are blessed and lucky. You know, that dance is a little bit different. You know, even though certain things about the team will change from time to time, but for the most part, dance is dance. And, you know, the styles of most dance teams have changed because more young women of color can afford to go to dance class. You know, so that, you know, they've gone before. Back when I danced, nobody went to dance class. No, nobody. No, we most all we could do was a shaky, shaky, boom, 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 because that's what we did in the mirror while we was watching Soul Train. You know what I'm saying? So once, you know, Black families became more affluent and middle class, they started sending their kids to dance school. So that's when you started seeing these teams changing. You started seeing the high school teams changing, and you started seeing the collegiate teams changing because now they can do all this stuff. Sure. You know, so dance is dance, and so we have a little bit of some
And
grace.
I think for most squads, other than us, maybe one other, I won't name names. Color guard is color guard. Some are a little bit more. How can I
Fluid.
phrase this? Fluid
Yeah.
in their movements. And are a little bit more dance like than others, but for the most part, color guard is color guard. Like I could probably leave here because my first couple of years of high school color guard, we didn't twirl like the Silkettes.
Right.
Not until my senior year of high school did I learn this style because I got a new coach. I could probably color guard is color guard, like we said, the foundation. So I could probably go coach anywhere. But I think it would, with someone coming here to the Silkettes, it just would be a little different. Not saying that it can't be done. So for the most part, color guard is color guard. But here, just if you just so happen 2, 3, 5, 10 years from now become the Silkette coach, and you see glitter in their future, just call them silky something with some silk in it. That's all I ask.
You know what? I was in color guard in high school, and we twirled with 10-foot poles. So we couldn't do tosses and all of that stuff. We could barely do windmills, barely, or y'all call them back scratchers, right? We could barely do it. Those poles were heavy. They were heavy and they were tall, and I hated it. But we couldn't do a lot of the, stuff that you see in DCI, all the tossing stuff around and all that. We couldn't do that because our poles were too tall.
And see, when I was a Silkette, that pole didn't leave your hand. But now we require them. If it's a competition, if it's like a battle or something, you will have a couple of them things in there. Got to. And on the field, we expecting at least 2 or 3. You know what I'm saying? So it's different, and that's okay. But yeah, if they get another coach, just they gonna be something else.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that you can still enhance your style while keeping your style.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That should be everybody's goal, though.
I believe that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So along that line, go ahead.
But I would think that they would have to see with us. It's not just us; it's also the Spartan Guard. So if you change the Silkette style, it would be some interesting stuff happening because
I think you could do it though, because Spartan Guard, even though they twirl and they do flag work, they kind of have branded themselves as in Spartan Guard. They walk with hot ice to the bathroom, they walk with them wherever they go, and they protect people. So I think
so you're saying they would have to stop twirling?
No. I'm not saying they would have to stop twirling. I'm just saying they could maintain what they're doing now, even if the Silkettes decided to kind of spruce it up a little bit and do something different.
I'm talking about completely changing the Silkette style. I don't know how that would work.
No, the Spartan Guard would stay. No.
Because then a lot of what we do, especially when I was in the band and we're getting back to it, is that the routines are made up together. So they complement one another.
Gotcha.
So I don't know how that would work.
No, it wouldn't.
It would probably be like clothes stowed up in the air. It's a whole lot going on that field. It ain't quite working together.
Right. Yeah. That would definitely be something that would have to be considered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mind is still going because we are all in agreement that things can change, they can grow, they can progress within a particular structure, especially under the legacy or foundation in which the construct was built. There's nothing wrong with branching out, making it a little bit I don't know, it's far-fetched to say, but up to date or just keeping up with the times, whatever that looks like or means. But it got me to thinking, the Foxes that I know now versus the Foxes that I grew up with, if I think 10 years out from when I started, what would I think the Foxes would look like? I could not say that they look like they would today. So it makes me think, y'all can take your director hat off or your coach hat off, sponsor hat off, just willy-nilly. If you had to say, or if what does a particular team of your choice look like 10 years from now? Maybe 15. Anything goes. What would you like to see? It can be high school, college, your current teams, whatever. I would just be interested in seeing that. I mean, I don't know if we'll still be going 10 to 15 years from now, but I would love to think in 10 to 15 years, if it crosses my mind, how close or not close those visions are.
Oh, gosh. I don't know, because, me being older, there are some directions that we are going in terms of HBCU dance that I'm not real thrilled with. And
Yeah.
to think of where it could potentially go, ooh, that ain't good.
I think we talked about this on one of the shows. Some of this stuff is borderline stripping. I'm just a little concerned about that.
Yeah, I'm concerned about it too, but Maya, you bring up a really good question. That is a really good question. Like, in 10 to 15 years, where is it gonna be? And that I wish I had an answer. I do not know.
Or
I
where we
think,
want to see it
yeah,
in 10 to 15 years.
you might
Whatever your interpretation of it is, good, bad.
You might see more acro. I find that acro is becoming very popular now. Very popular. And so you may see more acro in routines. But as far as like some of the stand routines and all of the, the stuff that they're doing, oh my gosh, I just don't know where it's gonna go. And that's scary to me. I don't know where it's gonna go. 10 to 15 years out. Oh my gosh.
A lot can happen. A lot can happen. And you brought up acro. So my thought was, I'm just thinking real crazy. I was like, maybe somebody will bring some type of Cirque du Soleil. Maybe somebody will be spinning off wires, or I don't know, jumping at the bass drum. Who knows?
Oh Lord.
Who knows? But that thought brought me to, I believe it was Alabama A&M. There was some stand routine, or maybe we don't even call it a stand routine. It was more like a stand dance. But there were transitions done with the seating arrangements, moving from the front to the back. Stuff that I was like, it's right there. It's all the ability to do so has always been right there. But who's thinking? Usually you have your captain in the front and it follows suit after, or your two captains in the front and follow suit after, or your 2 lines, 3 lines, whatever that looks like. But they were in one line and a pyramid and an inverted pyramid and this, that, and the third. And so we could add that to a concept of, I never thought of that. There was one, was it Kentucky State? I'm not sure what it was. I think we talked about it a little bit. So basically the team, we're all aware of individuals, right? But it was like an individual dance, and they were all on the track doing their 16, 32, how many ever counts. And that was something very different. It may not be everyone's cup of tea, but it's a transition from what we've seen in the past and what we're quote unquote used to. So we're exactly right when we're saying the opportunities are endless, because
Golden Delight does that quite. They have done that in the past. I've seen them do it, where they move around in the stands and do formations in the stands. McKinley High School does it. If you go back and look at some of their videos, but they, you got to have space for that. Sure. And some schools have the space, some don't, and you have to be careful because you can get hurt doing that.
Yeah.
So I have seen Color Guard bring the big flags into the stands. And so now they're twirling, not rings, not swing flags, but they're twirling standard flags in the stands. I've seen that. So yeah, it's hard to say where it's gonna go. It really is. You have to, but I do believe you have to look at what's going on in just dance in general. Look at what's going on there, and then when you see that, then that's where HBCU dance is gonna go.
Yeah.
That's where it's going to go, because that's where we're getting our inspiration from. And like I said, I've been seeing a lot of acro, a lot. And so you may start seeing a lot of that. You may start seeing more dancers. I saw someone mention, there's a comment in there about accent, how they had the what's the things called, the ribbons and all that kind of stuff. So you may see the incorporation of that. Back in the 80s, we were the first to actually dance with the guys. That was my line. So we were the first to do that. You may see more of that, where it's for halftime shows. By the way, sidebar, I really want to start to see more emphasis back on field show. We can talk about that later on a different show. But I really want to see us go back to, really caring about field show. But anyway, we were, I think you may see more productions, as people find new ways to entertain. You're going to see more productions and stuff on the field, involving the dancers.
Portia, you kind of sparked up something. You want to add a little tidbit?
The only thing I hope is that there's more opportunities for people to learn color guard, because from what I'm seeing, it's starting to, and I'm just speaking frankly about HBCUs, because PWIs and high schools that have core style programs are flourishing, but it's seeming to die out in our culture. And so I'm just hoping that those schools that have them continue to have them, because I will say COVID really hurt us. Like a lot of people didn't continue to do it, didn't want to pursue it any longer. A lot of squads are rebuilding. So I just hope there's more opportunity for people to learn it and grow in it. Because it does add a lot and can add a lot to a show. So
that's a good thought. And someone just put, or save the twirlers and the guards. That's, I mean, it's a lost art form. It truly is. And it used to be such a big deal. It used to be so prominent. And I'm trying to figure out what happened, where not necessarily where did we go wrong, but just what happened.
Because
go ahead.
Because dance became more popular and dance became more out front and more spotlighted and highlighted, and so people just went to dance instead of twirling. We talked about this. We had a show with the founder of the Black Baton Twirlers Network, and who just so happens to be the new baton twirling coach at Howard. And we had a discussion with her about this and how she's trying to revive the culture when it comes to Black baton twirlers, especially at HBCUs. So you have to kind of up the profile a little bit. Dancers right now, dancers are getting all the videos, they're getting all of the social media attention, they're getting all this stuff, and so that's what people are wanting to do.
It was in 06, my rookie year, when we went to that Honda in 06, we had 20. It was 20 of us. Now, do I ever want to coach a squad that size? Absolutely not. Way too many bodies. But it was 20 of us, Right. So, and then it's just, commitment, it's just, we're losing something here. And, but it's also, I see it in the high school squads, have one or two people, things like that. So
with the exception of New Orleans.
Yeah. Well, that's a totally different city. That's a totally different city.
It's different.
Everybody down there does something, so that's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to see it continue to exist and to hopefully grow
Right.
in HBCU band.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Well, I mean, Portia, especially with you being in the thick of it, and I don't want to put you on the spot by any means, but we have to learn from those who are in it. How, or is there anything that you think can be done, or how do we start to revamp and put this back into the forefront? Is there anything that we can do, or what that needs to be done from your perspective that can put us back on the map, or put those things back on the map?
I think it has to be present and it has to be available for introduction.
Mhm.
It's a lot of it is, well, I don't have a coordinator, so I don't have a flag section, or it's bad coaching, so I don't want to do this anymore because it's not interesting to me. It's
Mhm.
not fun to me. I'm not being exposed to and taught the real significance of this thing. And the rich history of it, how many things you can do with it, how creative you can be. That's not to me what I see being done. I mean, even on the collegiate level, sometimes these people that's coaching shouldn't be coaching. So we have to provide adequate exposure, but also put the resources in place so that it's an enjoyable experience and that they grow from it and see
Mhm.
value in it.
Mhm.
That comes
Mhm.
with exposure.
Yeah. You gotta, we're on this crusade, to teach the young ladies that are the members of the color guard teams to be proud and to love what they do and to be proud of it, to want to advance in it. I've said this so many times. You have a lot of schools where the color guard is a dumping ground for people that don't make the dance team.
Mm.
And you know every once in a while you will get a handful who kind of see the light and they're like, oh, I really like this. I like color guard. I like this better than dancing. You will have some people like that. But overall, and I know that's what my goal is with Twirling Thunder, is to get them to be proud of what they do, and to want to advance in it, and to be proud of it. You know, we need
And
we need the people in color guard and baton twirling to feel that way.
yeah, and it's like a lot of people don't know this. I took dance lessons. I I was exposed to all of it. And I actually got tired of it. Going and getting to the dance studio at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning and never leaving. And my mama was like, you don't want to do it anymore. You got to find something to do.
Mm.
Well, my
Mhm.
sister did flag at Virginia State.
Mm.
And so I was like, well, I'm going to try this out. Fell in love and never looked back.
Yeah.
Because not only do you have to learn the routine, but I tell this all the time, and they'll tell you, if they could quote me, they'll probably say a list of things that I say all the time. They'll do a routine and they'll know it, but I say that y'all did it, y'all executed it, but it was dry like toast. It is an art to be able to tell a story with
Right.
something that is not a part of your anatomy.
Right.
To be able to use that to add and convey your message to the audience with something that is not a part of you, that you have to find a way to become one with and make an extension of yourself, is an art. And so they know, I'll tell you, have to feel the song, listen to the song, learn the song, find a way to relate to the song so that you can tell the story of this field show, of this song, to your audience.
Yeah.
You got to be able to sell it.
Yeah.
And because if you don't enjoy it, they're not going to get it.
They're not going to, they're not going to get it either.
So it's an art to this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be so beautiful when it's done right.
You're right.
And that message, the exposure to the things that you can do, and your level of contribution to the program, I don't think that's conveyed.
That's good.
Mhm.
That's good.
Yeah.
You want it today, girlfriend?
Yes.
So, even going down that a little bit further, because we were talking about twirling, the major style, we were talking about color guard, and it made me think of Brandy. I believe that's her name. She was the twirler at TSU. She was there prior to me getting to PV, and I remember I used to love that portion of TSU's field shows because it brought joy to me. Look at this black girl twirling this fire, twirling two batons, whatever, what have you. And it also stemmed from me coming from Townview. We had to twirl flags, we had to twirl batons, we had to twirl sabers, as well as dance, rifle, all of those things. So I'm familiar, and I always have a piece of my heart is always going to be there.
Mhm.
But see, I started to search Google because I wanted to see if I can find her name correctly before I said it. I'm pretty sure it's Brandy. But what popped up is none other than Texas Tech, Texas, all of the PWI. So I'm thinking, or it made me think, is there something that has become seemingly anti-Black about the experience of color guard or majorette that has possibly had something to do with this phenomenon? Or, I mean, maybe it's far-fetched, but it really kind of concerned me that me typing in, looking for a specific something that has to do with this Black girl, this Black woman, for her specific twirler skills, and all I got was everything on the other side of the spectrum.
Also, you have to think about the young lady, and I do not know her. I can't remember her name, but the young lady that was in Beychella. Oh my God, what is her name? And she's from Atlanta. She lives in Atlanta.
Yeah. But I think it goes
just
back to
amazing.
Maya, what you said. I think it goes back to the messaging, and in that culture, these things are still highly regarded,
Right,
and very important. You know what I'm saying? Over to Sean's point, dance has kind of taken off in a way that people don't feel like this is as glamorized.
Right.
Now I don't know why that is. I don't know, but that's what in that culture, baton and flag are still highly regarded. Like,
absolutely.
It's more of that than it is dance on that side.
Exactly.
Because of the color that they bring, because of the tricks that, the fire, the aspects that can bring that wow factor, So, but this also is reminiscent of the fact that we've gotten away from prioritizing the field and prioritizing the stands, because when you think about it, I don't know how often when people pulling up dance videos, they looking at the field. Most of that is stand stuff.
I told you.
You know what I'm saying? Because if we looking at the field, that color is out there from top to bottom. And more than likely, at some point during the drill, that baton is out there, and they're normally out there for the duration or for a longer period of time than the dancers would be in the HBCU world. So it's all a culmination of that shift.
Yeah, I mean, I and my thought is, and if you talk about how do we get more spotlight on color guard in twirlers, I think it is to feature and to emphasize the talent of what they do. Now, this is no shade, and I'm not trying to imply anything about anybody, but sexy is only gonna get you so far. There's enough sexy out there, to be quite honest.
Miss, I know you, because that's what I was sitting here thinking. I think part of it is that people, I knew it was gonna come out at some point, but it's so much easier to sexualize the act of being a dancer, and that is what, unfortunately, is what is gravitated towards, that we have moved away from being able to understand the art.
The art. And I believe
Part of it all.
I believe that if you could, really focus on some of these baton twirlers and color guard members who are just incredibly talented, and you focus on that talent, that I really believe that over time, it might take some time, but over time, I think that the appreciation for it is going to start to come back, and in a different way is going to start to come back. And so people, again, like I said, my goal is to make people proud of what it is that they do. And it's not always about rubbing and feeling and being overly sexual. It's really not all about that, because these young performers are freaking amazing. And look back to when, and even still, does Jackson State still have a feature twirler? They don't. No. Oh my gosh.
No.
Not in years.
But I think part of it is too, is that some of it is, if you come here to Norfolk State, you're gonna be used in that field show. You gonna march that thing from top to bottom. But some of them just don't do anything with them. They throw them in the back of the field for the whole show, or on the end zones, or on the side.
Yeah.
And you just stand there and twirl.
Oh man.
What is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta, to those band directors who have flags and are not incorporating them in that show, you missing out on some, taking that thing to the next level. I cannot express to you how much color can be used to change the impact of your show.
Yes. I mean, go back and look at the videos from the 80s, y'all, and look at Jackson State and them doggone feature twirlers. I mean, just amazing. And but you're right. And I think some education of the band directors is in order. And I say that in the nicest way possible.
With a smile. Yeah. It's all about our approach to it and our culture to it, our culture's view of it. And
I'd like to take it a step further. Now, I'm not being controversial by any means, but I do think that in addition to that, Justin, I know you in the room too. I think that the social media presence has a lot to do with it too. We have to put everybody has a part to play.
Yeah.
Everybody is or can be an integral part of this machine for the longest. And this is just from personal perspective or personal experience. For the longest, band clips where we don't want to just see them sitting there blowing their horns because I always sitting there watching them do this. Nobody wants to do that. Let's put it on everyone else, right? So then that's when a lot more of those dancer videos started coming along. Now we need to make it a little bit more. No, you absolutely do. And that's why I said Justin, because he does a phenomenal job of making sure every portion of the band, because the band itself is the whole thing from the rooter to the tutor. He does a phenomenal job of being able to do that. But I think that a lot more of these videographers, photographers, whomever, should also try and put that to the forefront, because the way that we digest information in this age, it has to just be put in front of us, and then we have a liking to it.
Yeah.
So if we're not seeing it, we're not digesting it, then it's easier for it to go to the back of our head. So again, I think, like I said, everybody is a part of this machine, whether you like it or not. So we all have a part to play, I think.
Yeah, and I agree with Mr. Donaldson there, who says Kentucky State does a great job with featuring their color guard. And I mean, they have a blended style. So, they're the twirling, but then they do, some dancing as well. Their style is very dancey. But the members of that team they're very good at it. They're not, you see some teams try to do certain things and they're just not great at it. They're very good at it at Kentucky State. I'm looking forward to seeing them in 30 days. In 30 days, I'm looking forward to seeing them.
Ooh,
Wow, it is 30 days.
I was
30
saying, it's gonna
days.
I think it's less than that I get on the plane.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah. 30 days.
30 days, the 27th, right?
I come in that Friday, whatever that date is.
Yeah.
And it's the
Okay.
26th.
Okay.
Y'all, if we could just get through camp.
Girl, by the time I get to Houston, ain't no pictures because I'm telling you, by then I'm gonna need some libations. Okay?
We could just get through camp.
Watch out!
Sean, you gonna make it.
Thank you.
You gonna make it. Y'all are gonna make it. You're gonna have a successful season. You know, you gotta go through the rough stuff to get to the glamour. This is where the foundation is made.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this question. I can't speak for no other color guard. I've only ever been a Silkette and I coached the Silkettes. We don't feel like we're in competition with anybody.
Period. I know that's right.
Do they feel like they're in competition with in competing against opposing color guard?
No,
not like dance teams.
Yeah.
Not like dance teams. Dance teams, they square up for some reason.
No, I feel like it's some squads that feel like they're in competition with us. But
really,
some have said as much. And when I was in the band, and I can't repeat my comments, but
we haven't run into that. But
yeah,
being in the SWAC, we don't get to see other color guards that often.
But you know, we used to have at least 3 battles a year.
Yeah,
Virginia State, Hampton, A&T. So absolutely. But we don't feel like we're in competition with anybody.
Yeah. I wish we could see more color guard in the SWAC. And when I color guards that do the same style, you know, but we don't. Alabama State is sort of there, almost kind of.
Has there ever been an HBCU?
Just TSU's. What were they? What waves?
Yeah, the ocean waves.
Are they still prominent? I haven't watched it.
No, but I think that's a dope idea, Ms. Sean. You need to put that together. The Silkettes to be there.
What I need to put together?
Has there ever been an HBCU showcase specifically for color guard?
No, there has not, and yes, we're working on it.
The Silkettes be coming.
I like it.
You promise? You promise the Silkettes are coming?
I'm gonna make it happen.
Yeah, we are doing that. Yes, and
I mean, because you got to think, with us being in the MEAC, a lot of people haven't seen us in person.
Right. We're working on that. Me and Gary are working on that and on getting that done. So yeah,
I would love to see that. Please count me in.
Okay,
I will absolutely be there.
Pretty
boy, a time. You talking about having a time, child? That's a time, okay?
Yeah. We're planning on doing that. I'm looking forward to it. We're planning, and we're also planning on featuring the Baton Twirlers as well. So we're entering into a partnership with Black Baton Twirlers Network, so that we can do some things specifically for baton twirlers at HBCUs and at show style high schools. So yeah.
New beginnings all around. You see how things just start coming full circle? Look at that. Well, I mean, I guess that's a perfect transition right there. Anybody have any last points or anything that we want to touch on or hit on, or any last questions that we need to answer?
I would say, let me think. Yeah, I'm going back to our original question about, the new beginnings and what was it like, at the schools and everything. And I don't want anyone to hear anything that we've said and be discouraged. If you have been called to coach, please do it. Please do it. Especially if you are qualified and you feel like you have something to offer and something to give, please do it. Are there some bumps in the road? Yeah, I would be lying if I said that there weren't. But there'll be some bumps in the road. But it's totally worth it. Totally worth it. I am in my 10th year at Prairie View, and wouldn't change a thing. Even the bumps wouldn't change a thing. Wouldn't change a thing from my year at Norfolk. Wouldn't change a thing for my 2 years at South Carolina State. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't. And I've loved every minute of it. So don't be discouraged if you are called and you are qualified. Go for it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's all a part of the process and the journey. And we need that.
Mhm.
That background, the evolution of it all is what makes our community so prominent and necessary.
Mhm.
It makes it so different, and it gives it the potential to continue to stay different if we utilize our backgrounds and utilize what, where we come from, and push it into our new forms of art, our new organizations, or the things that we're called to. So absolutely. Good point, Ms. Shawn. Definitely.
Mhm.
I just want to encourage all of my fellow sponsors, coaches, coordinators, band directors, support
Yes.
staff, everybody that is getting ready, because you want to, I'm going to say this with a smile, to give up your life for the success of your program. Stay encouraged. Stay the course.
Encouraged.
Find time for you. That's really hard during a season, but you can't pour if you empty. So find time to do something that's enjoyable to you. Stay focused on your goals. Forget about social media and just focus on your students.
Like, don't look at it. Don't look at it. Don't look at the comments. Don't look at the comments.
I think if I could give one nugget is to find some me time. So you can continue to journey on, because energy is contagious. So here we go. Is all I can say is here we go.
Ooh, another season. This is going to be a season.
Yeah. I'm really, really excited.
Yeah. This is going to be a season for sure.
Look, but I need BA.5 to get on. I'm serious. Look, I need BA.5 to go. Get you COVID.
Oh yeah, I'm annoyed. Okay, I just came back from Boulé. And it's so many people that came back with that thing, and I'm like, we gotta go to band camp. Where these kids coming from?
Listen,
and I already talked about I got OCD and germ issues, so they know.
Yeah,
they were hey, Miss Portia, back up. We can't hug. I got I'm like wiping stuff down, and I have to go back to that, like, because here we go.
It's
again.
bad. It's very transmissible.
So much harder to prepare a band dealing with this mess.
Yes, it's hard because it's way more transmissible than the earlier Omicron variants. And so it's just like, it's just in there, it's wreaking havoc. It's driving me crazy. I need BA.5 to get.
Yeah, I know so many people that contracted it, and I was scared, came home and took a test. But I didn't feel bad or anything.
Yeah, but you take a test.
I'm negative, but so many sorors came back from Philly.
Yeah,
with it. So I was like, Jesus Christ. And I mean, these kids going to show up here.
Wear your mask.
Yeah.
Wear your mask.
I can't believe we still dealing with this.
Yeah.
So.
And will be, because this other thing that's on the rise. Ooh,
I know. Gosh, y'all.
But we're going to have a time in Houston. Yes, I ain't going to be working, so I'm really going to have a time, Shawn.
I know.
Last year I was, child, when I got back to Virginia, I called my boss. I said, I can't work today, ma'am. I got to.
Well, look, y'all gonna have to come down to where I'm sitting and come down so we can take some pictures and we can say hello to the folks, go live for a little bit and all that.
Yeah, if we can do it, we're gonna make it happen because we're gonna be in the place.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm just happy to not be working. I ain't lying. We ain't got no
Let me see. So are y'all okay for two more weeks out, the 11th, or will y'all be in the thick of band camp?
It's really up to you guys. I can always make the time because
Okay, we'll figure it out. We'll get it.
What time we start?
8:15 your time.
8:15.
Mm-hmm.
I probably will be good. I might be in the music building and you hear some tunes.
That's what I got captains for.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll figure that piece out
Yeah.
amongst ourselves. But
Yeah. I should be good. I may just
yeah.
tip on out a little early, or I may just find a quiet place in the music building, and y'all will see what practice looks like.
I may have some good Bandcamp stories for y'all.
Oh, child! You know it's gonna be some. That's
bring all the things, and we can discuss. I would love to hear some on the streets.
It's always a story. It is
Absolutely.
always something that happens that you'd be like, I know you lying.
I know.
So I'm sure, you know, we'll have,
we'll be all ears.
Some insight into what's going on. And maybe we can do, you know, Sean and I, you know, maybe I'll do some behind the scenes day in the life of.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that'd be
fun. Perfect. See, we building this thing on out slowly but surely. I like it.
That'd be fun. That'd be really fun.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Girls,
well, thank y'all so
really silly.
Okay, go ahead. What you say?
I said because they said give us some behind the scenes. Those girls look serious all the time in performance because of their style, but they're really, really goofy and funny and silly. So that's a way that we can expose, you know, it's not all serious. There's some fun and games in there.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some fun and games.
I think that's necessary, making it more personal and making it more realistic. I think I would like to see that.
Okay.
Let's work it. Okay, perfect. We'll figure that out. We'll build that out as well.
You know, I'm over the media team too. So, you know, I'm going to get me some video and stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. Perfect.
Well, this has been great, guys.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. I agree. We always seem to pull it on together. So thank y'all so much again for joining us tonight. Until next time.
All the comments and all the people.
For the engagement, for sure.
Yeah, I want to thank my line brother, Mr. Edwin. Mr. Edwin Moore for joining us for the first time.
Please.
Hey, my LB.
Awesome. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.